Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. We know that the NFL offseason and early season rumors are always buzzing. But this time, there's something particularly spicy happening in the league, especially regarding some of the teams in the NFC. And believe me, what's going on with the Carolina Panthers might have ripple effects that could reach all the way to the Washington Commanders. Yeah, I know, it sounds like a distant story, but stay with me because the NFL is a league of moves, and the whispers about possible trades and strategic shifts could shake up the entire landscape this season. And one of the most talked about topics right now is the potential trade of Bryce Young, the Panthers' young, promising quarterback, who was drafted in the first round just last year. Now, I want to set the scene here because the Panthers are a team that's been trying to find their footing after a rocky previous season. They spent a high draft pick on Bryce Young, a guy who showed a lot of promise coming out of Alabama. But as we all know, the NFL is a different animal. It's a league where even the most talented rookies face immense pressure to perform right from week one. And unfortunately, for Young, his start hasn't been as smooth as many hoped. In fact, his recent performance against the Jacksonville Jaguars was one of his worst to date. It was so bad that he actually had a moment of frustration, telling head coach Dave Canales something before slamming his helmet down on the ground. That kind of outburst, especially from a QB who's supposed to be the franchise guy, raises eyebrows and makes you wonder about the chemistry and confidence within the team's offensive structure. But let's back up a little and talk about the bigger picture. The Panthers, after drafting Young, made some moves to bolster their offense, bringing in a promising playmaker in Teteroa McMillan and acquiring some defensive stalwarts to help Young have a fighting chance. The idea was to surround him with talent, give him the best environment to succeed, and see if he could develop into the franchise quarterback they envisioned. Yet despite those efforts, the results haven't been quite what they hoped for. Young's struggles are making some insiders and analysts start to question whether the Panthers are considering a different path, perhaps even a trade this season. And here's where it gets really interesting for us, because if Young's struggles continue and he doesn't show significant improvement by week 5, the possibility of a trade becomes more than just a rumor. It's a real scenario. Remember, this is a guy who was the first overall pick, a former Alabama star, and someone many believed would be a future star in this league. But the NFL is tough, and sometimes even the most talented prospects need time or the right system to flourish. The Panthers might be thinking that if they don't see a clear progression, they could consider moving him to another team that's willing to give him a fresh start. Now, let's not forget the context in Carolina. The team has been trying to rebuild and retool around young talent. They've invested in their roster with some promising additions, but the quarterback position, for now, remains a question mark. With Spencer Rattler winning the starting job last season over Tyler Show, there was at least a sense of stability at that position. Still, Rattler's preseason performance this year, while promising, didn't quite translate into immediate wins in week 1, which keeps the door open for other options. And that's where the ripple effect hits other teams, including the New Orleans Saints. The Saints, under new head coach Kellen Moore, are trying to find their footing after years of stability with Drew Brees. They've been in a kind of transition, and while Rattler showed flashes, he's yet to prove he can be the long-term answer. If he continues to struggle, the Saints might be looking at a trade, perhaps for a quarterback like Bryce Young if he's available. It's all about finding that guy who can lead the offense and give the team a real shot at the playoffs. Now, talking about trades, the Chargers are another team that's caught everyone's attention. With Justin Herbert firmly establishing himself as one of the elite quarterbacks in the league, the Chargers seem to be in a different situation. They're not looking for a new QB anytime soon, but the preseason performance of Trey Lance has been noteworthy. The Chargers see Lance as a potential future starter, and with him developing behind Herbert, he could be the guy to watch this season. But if, for some reason, Lance doesn't get that full opportunity, there's speculation that teams like the Panthers might come knocking, especially if Young's situation in Carolina doesn't improve. It's a game of chess, folks, and every move counts. And let's not forget about the Washington Commanders. They are in a very interesting position this season. They've got Jaden Daniels as their starting quarterback, and he's been showing some positive signs. But the NFL is always a league of opportunities and surprises. The Commanders could be in the market for a veteran or a young quarterback to add depth, or even compete for the starting role if things don't go as planned. There's talk about Marcus Mariota possibly being available, especially since he's winding down his career, but still has something to offer. Trading for him could give the Commanders a veteran presence and a chance to challenge Daniels, or perhaps serve as a bridge if the team decides to look for a more long-term solution later in the season. So, what does this all mean for us, the loyal Washington fans? Well, it's a fascinating time. The NFL is in flux, and the quarterback market is hotter than ever. The Panthers' situation with Bryce Young could be a sign of what's to come for other teams, including ours. If Young gets traded, it could create a domino effect, opening opportunities for other quarterbacks and shifting the power dynamics in the NFC. The Commanders have been quietly building something solid, but the league's landscape is always changing, and it's crucial to stay alert and ready for any moves that could impact our team's future. This season promises to be full of surprises, and I know many of you are eager to see how the Commanders will navigate these waters. Will they stick with Daniels and continue to develop him into a franchise guy, or will they be tempted by a veteran or a young talent available on the trade market? It's the kind of storyline that keeps us all on the edge of our seats. And if the Panthers do decide to trade Bryce Young, it could be a game changer, not just for Carolina, but for the entire NFC East and the league as a whole. So, as we keep an eye on these developments, remember that the NFL is a league of constant change. Every week brings new stories, new rumors, and new opportunities. The Washington Commanders are building something special, and I believe this season could be a pivotal one. Whether it's through developing Jaden Daniels, making a bold trade, or waiting for the right moment to strike, we have to stay tuned and stay hopeful. Because at the end of the day, it's all about building a winning team, getting closer to that Super Bowl dream, and supporting our guys through thick and thin. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And yes, folks, the landscape is shifting and the next few weeks could be crucial. Keep a close eye on the Panthers and their quarterback situation, because if they move Bryce Young, it could open a floodgate of opportunities for other teams, including the Commanders. We've seen how the NFL can change in an instant, and it's what makes this league so exciting. Every team is fighting for that ultimate goal, a Super Bowl appearance, and sometimes, one big trade or one breakout game can be the spark that ignites a team's season. As for our Commanders, I think we can be optimistic, but also realistic. We've seen flashes of potential from Jaden Daniels, and the team has been steadily improving. But the league is unforgiving, and the competition in the NFC is fierce. Teams like Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Dallas are all vying for supremacy, and the margin for error is razor-thin. That's why every move, every decision, and every game matters. In conclusion, the NFL season is just getting started, but the stories are already unfolding at a rapid pace. The Panthers' possible trade of Bryce Young is just one piece of a much larger puzzle that involves many teams, including the Commanders. Whether it's through internal development or strategic trades, the goal remains the same: building a team capable of competing at the highest level and bringing that Lombardi trophy back to DC. So, Washington fans, stay engaged, stay excited, and let's see how everything unfolds. The NFL is a league where anything can happen, and this season might just surprise us all. Keep supporting your team, keep the faith, and remember, the best is yet to come. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and all the latest news about the Washington Commanders. Stay safe, and as always, go Commanders.